In these painless
All right. Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Caleb. Obviously, just introduce me. I've been Trent's best friend going on 15 years now. I don't want to make any promises, but I am going to do my best to keep this under an hour. I know there's not much worse than listening to someone try to be funny and fail. The only thing that might be worse is watching a grown man cry. Witness my attempt at threading this needle. I want to start by saying genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I have been dreading this moment since the day I was asked. Which honestly is pretty on brand for me. See, I'm not a naturally optimistic person. Most people would call me a pessimist or a cynic. My grandmother calls me a curmudgeon. My mother calls me an asshole. Trent, however, is the opposite. A true optimist. Glass half full, we can make the best of anything, the world is full of possibilities type of guy. Now, our friend group is not what you would consider the most religious bunch. But every Sunday during football season, we get together with 2 to 6 television screens, and Trent treats it with the kind of devotion most people reserve for church. And just like religion, it requires a certain willingness to believe in something that has historically given you very little reason to. The Chicago Bears. Every single year, the Bears will select some 5th round nobody out of God knows where. A kid who, by all accounts, has no business playing meaningful minutes in the NFL. And there's Trent, on his feet, clapping. Hooting and hollering like they just drafted a future Hall of Famer. It's probably got the jersey picked out. That's the type of guy I am. That's who I've been friends with since we were 10 years old playing football together. I wish I remembered those early days better. Patrick and my grandfather coached us. I wanted to come up here and talk about the discipline we developed, the lessons we took with us. But honestly, I don't remember much. Whether it was too long ago or repetitive blows to the head, I couldn't tell you. What I do remember is this. One day, Trent showed up to practice with a shaved head. Holy shit. This kid's a comedic genius. Shaving your head for the bit is serious. It wasn't until later I realized it wasn't a bit. And at that point, I began to cry. The poor kid is dying. But eventually it became normal. And once it became normal, it became fair game. You want to develop thick skin? Try eyebrowless elementary school. But Trent gave it as good as he got it. And I was referred to as skinny pants a hell of a lot more today. That's really where our friendship started. Finding the line and crossing it together. We didn't go to the same elementary school, so it wasn't until high school we became really close. Grade 9, we had every single class together. And we had some real characters for teachers. Mr. Williams, old, miserable, chunk of his ear was missing. Miss Irons, who told the class she boxed recreationally. We used to say Miss Irons bit off Mr. Williams. And then there was Mr. Knight, Dave K, grade 9 shop class. A man who had no business graduating high school, let alone teaching. 5 foot tall, face full of Botox, not a clue in the world. I ate this man's pre-packed lunch on more than one occasion. A lot more went down that class, but I will definitely imagine. Now, a lot of you know Trent as the man he is today. Charismatic, intelligent, a lawyer and a gentleman. The kind of guy who walks into a room and people just like him. But that's not who I met. The kid I met was a menace. He would wait until you weren't paying attention, place his hand firmly on the back of your head, and introduce your face directly to his bare ass. He also loved the classic, I just sat and gummed it. In fact, if he has a few too many tonight, I wouldn't rule out seeing it. But here's what I've come to understand about Trent, and honestly took writing this speech to put my finger on it. We never really ask ourselves why we're friends with people. We assume circumstance, sense of humor. We played on the same team, ended up in the same classes, like making each other laugh. And maybe that's how it starts, but that's not why it lasts. Here's a good example. A while back, we decided to throw a surprise birthday party for our friend Noah. Who's missing?
No.
For our friend Noah, a week after his actual birthday, at Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. A shithole, by any reason or another. And I, being who I am, could only see the problems. A surprise party for a grown man with a child, a week late at the town's shittiest bar. I complained, I ranted, I made my feelings very clear. Meanwhile, Trent just wanted an excuse to be with his friends. Didn't matter where, didn't matter why. We had to hang out. What's the issue? Of course I went, and of course we had a blast. See, if I had it my way, I would have stayed home, got comfortable. And a week later, I couldn't have told you what I did that night. But 6 months removed, you asked me about November 22nd, and I can tell you exactly where I was and who I was with. That's Trent. He doesn't need the conditions to be perfect. He finds the thing we're showing up for, and he shows up. I've seen that optimism tested in ways that break people. Trent has faced losses that would hollow most of us out, that kind of change you, that leave a mark you carry for the rest of your life. And I know that mark is bitter. But I have never once seen it stop him from laughing hard, from loving the people around him, from walking into a room making it better despite being in it. The true measure of a man is not how he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but how he stands when things are at their worst. I have seen that measure, and that's how I know who Trent McDonald is. Sorry.
You got a club? You got a club?
I also know who Trent McDonald is not. Trent may be optimistic that something will get done. That does not mean he will be the one doing it. He told me the other day it took him 3 hours to figure out how to print paper from a printer. He's the type of guy who can make a 10-minute task last an entire day. The night of Noah's party, the night Trent was so excited about, couldn't wait for, just wanted to hang out with the fellas. I'm stuck sitting outside his place for 20 minutes while he finishes showering. I don't know about everyone else, but 90% of the time I spend in the shower is washing and then drying my hair. I don't know what he's doing. I'll leave that with Amanda. Speaking of Amanda, someone in every relationship must have strong opinions and the ability to get things done, and she has both. A few months back, we all went suit shopping together, and Amanda joined. I half-jokingly suggested suspenders. You would have thought I said assless check. To her credit, she did keep her composure. She said maybe, very diplomatic. Her eyes didn't say maybe. Her eyes said fuck off. And honestly, fair enough. It's her wedding. I've got zero clue what I'm talking about. Good on her for not biting my head off. She did, however, get me back. It was late January when we came down here for the food testing for the wedding. And you know me, seeing nothing but the negatives. Great. I get to shave for the first time in months, get a haircut for the first time in years. 3-hour round trip on a work night. Terrific. They offered to drive, which I appreciated. What I was not told is that Amanda cannot stand the sound of the heater fan. She finds the noise unbearable. I'll tell you what's unbearable. Sitting in the back seat of a 2009 Toyota Corolla with the heat off in January. It felt like we drove a cold storage unit from Lawrenceville to Hamilton. I will say the dinner was truly wonderful. I never wanted it to end. Not because of the food, because of the drive home. But here's what I want to say about Amanda, and I mean every word of this. She's genuinely easy to be around. Not in a quiet, forgettable way. She just fits. She can sit in the corner with headphones the size of a motorcycle, watching her shows while we're screaming at the football game. And somehow the room still feels right. And then out of nowhere, she'll say something so casually sharp that it takes a full second to land. And by then, she's already moved on. She's sneaky funny. The best kind of funny. And it tells you everything about who she is. She doesn't need the room, but she can have it anytime she wants. I know these two have big plans. House, dog, kids, a new car for Amanda. From what I understand, they'd like to get started on all of it right after the honeymoon. So, after years of planning this wedding, their reward is apparently a second full-time job. Trent will be relentlessly optimistic about everything getting done. Amanda will make sure everything actually gets done. Which is, when I think about it, maybe a perfect partnership. Trent, I love you, brother. Writing this speech gave me the chance to sit down and really ask myself why we're friends. And the answer I kept coming back to is this. Your version of the world is better than mine. You make it better. You make me better. And my life is genuinely greater because of you. To Trent and Amanda.
Trent and Amanda!
May your whole life together feel like the kind of night you still talk about 6 months later.